Welcome back to The Big Picture. We're talking to the coaches, both the men's hockey team and the women's hockey team from Cornell University, and ranked number 1 in the NCAA rankings nationally, but abrupt end to the season, no playoffs. Let's resume our talk with Mike Schaefer and Doug Draw from the ice hockey teams at Cornell University. Is there any plan for a get-together or some kind of a wrap-up to the experience over the summer, or when this thing starts to be opened up again? Have you guys talked about, other than just like shutting the door on the whole experience?
On our side, we had a team get together right after. We actually practiced that night. They wanted to practice anyway, even though we knew we weren't going to be playing on Saturday, so we had a practice. And then the next morning, we planned a brunch. We got together and sort of had a somewhat quasi banquet, I guess you would say. Since then, it's been some Zoom meetings, just getting the team together. And that's been about it. We've discussed having a formal banquet and awards ceremony, somewhere down the road, but again, we're not sure when this is going to end, and so it may end up being in the fall if it's possible to get all 6 seniors to be able to come back in the fall. I don't know if that's going to be a possibility or not, but yes, we're looking at some alternatives.
You guys recruit, well in advance. I mean, I'm sure you're well into thinking about incoming freshmen, and when the high schools experience something like this and they have to suspend their programs, how does that influence, and I think we touched on it a little bit earlier, but how does that influence your planning in terms of over the summer getting in contact with recruits, or potentially, I think normally you would have camps that you would evaluate various candidates, wouldn't you, Coach Schaefer?
Yeah, I mean, everything right now is NCAA has declared a dead period in recruiting, which means obviously kids can't go on campus and coaches can't go off campus right now and talk to kids. So, there's no home visits, there's no camps. But I mean, I think most teams are they've got their recruiting classes all set for the following year, and they've already had a good start to their classes for the 21-22 season. So everybody's in the same situation. No one's playing hockey right now. Coaches are probably checked enough archived video on kids that they want to kind of see a little bit, but everybody's in the same situation and just waiting for hockey to start up again in some way, shape, or form. But recruiting is all done for next year. We're all set, and then the recruiting will, and once the NCAA kicks off and opens up the dead period, we can get back to our normal recruiting. Once that happens, things will start to go full force again in our world.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about the fact that the new normal might be kind of directed a little bit towards Zoom calls and social media meetings. Is that, I know there's been talk, I did some interviews earlier with some college officials, that there's some concern that the way this is developing, there may be a change in the college culture that certain classes, not all, I mean, you can't do chemistry classes remotely, but you can teach some classes remotely. You don't have to be on campus. With a school that doesn't give athletic scholarships, is there a concern, and have you guys been thinking about the fact that there may be less people for you to choose from coming to a school such as Cornell? Is that going to make it tougher for you, or don't you think that's going to be a factor?
I don't think it's going to be really, I'll let Doug speak also. I don't think it's going to be a factor. I mean, college is a college experience, and I don't think that online, I don't think kids want to be online and have their college experience. And you learn so much. You get a chance to grow up when you're at college. You get a chance to experience things and develop friendships and mature from a teenager to a young adult. And there's the academic side of it, and there's the social side of it, and there's the maturing side of it. And I think that kids long for that, regardless of what people think about kids today in society. Our players, they're missing that relationship right now which is a great thing. And I think that the Zoom calls, I think that it's great in the meantime, but there's nothing from wanting interaction and sitting down and getting a chance to really get to know a person and have some real conversations and experience that. And I think that's probably the big part of the college experience. It's just not about the technical learning. It's about everything. And I'd like Doug speak on his behalf about that.
Yeah, Doug, I think Mike put his finger on it. There's a certain culture involved, isn't there?
So many things that go into the college experience outside of what happens in the classroom, and even in the classroom setting, to be able to go and discuss your academics with a TA, or be able to go and discuss your academics face to face with your professor. I actually have a son who's just finished up high school, and he took a few online courses, and he found a big difference between the online courses and being in the classroom. So I don't think it's going to replace what we've been doing. I just think you can't replace all the experiences that Coach Schaefer was mentioning.
And do you think, for the women's team, do you think now you've got, you're losing 6 seniors, depending on eligibility, but you're probably going to be losing 6 seniors. Next year's team, with the way this ended and the disappointment, is it going to be just a fresh start next year? You think they're going to have a little bit of a hangover, if you will, from the experience of having the rug kind of pulled out from under them?
Well, as a coach, you certainly hope not, and you're recruiting and planning and preparing for years out. So you hope that you've done a good job in filling the holes that are presented when a senior class is going to depart. But certainly our senior class was extremely special, one of the best senior classes that we've ever had here at Cornell. You've got 2 All-Americans, you've got 3 Canadian national team players. So certainly it was a strong class in all aspects for us, from a leadership standpoint, from a skill standpoint, from a competitive standpoint. So they're going to be sorely missed, and we do feel like we have a strong class coming in. But no matter whether if we had brought in the 6 best female hockey players in the country, they're not going to replace that senior class that we had. So yes, they'll be missed, but we always plan and prepare for those departures, and we hope as coaches that we've done a good job, and that we can continue from where we left off. I know that the team returning is certainly highly motivated to finish things from where things finished this year.
How does this team rank, with your typical team? I know they're all different, but how would you put it in terms of what your average team is like?
We've had some very strong teams here over the years. We've been to multiple Frozen Fours and been to the national championship, which we lost, unfortunately, in triple overtime. So we've had some tremendous teams here, some great teams here. But in all of my years, my 15 years of coaching at Cornell, we've never gone undefeated in the ECAC regular season, and we've never finished at the end of the year ranked number 1 going into the NCAA tournament. So this definitely is a team that, if it isn't the best team I've ever had, it's up there with the best teams that we've had.
Yeah, Coach Schaefer, how about on the men's side? How does this team rank with all the teams that you've coached over the years?
Yeah, I said we were 23-2-4. We play the same amount of games as Doug. In NCAA, you got to play 1 more game to get to the Frozen Four. But no, a great team. I mean, like Doug, we've had a lot of good teams. Been at this for a long time, 25 years now as a coach, and we've had some great group of kids. And they finished with the best winning percentage of any college team in the country since 1993. And so I'm very, very proud of them. It's we only graduate 3 of them, guys, but things are so uncertain for next year. We keep our fingers crossed that things will be normal for us. So we can start the season and get back after it again and try to repeat and do the same things we got done this year.
We're just about out of time. I want to thank Doug Dura and Mike Schaefer, the Cornell University hockey coaches for men's and women's teams. Congratulations to the #1 rankings for this year. Sorry that you guys didn't go to the playoffs, but a hell of a job. And we wish you all the best for the coming seasons, and hopefully we'll get back to a new normal, whatever that's going to be. Anyway, thanks again for being on the show. We really appreciate it. Thanks again for watching The Big Picture, and thanks for watching WBBZ-TV. We will see you next time.